The facts are, and we'll cover it, I'm sure, with many of your questions, but the facts are specifically we need to stop the run. And we haven't been able to stop the run at key times. I think out of our 60 players that we would count as the actives and a percent of the practice squad, over 1/3 of those players are new. And so we are doing what I've said many times, that if you are the one that owns, and when you look in the mirror, you've got to change. And so that this was a very deliberate, as it played out, reflection on a key player that could bring us a lot of consideration. A lot of consideration now in the player that we got that can help us stop the run, and a lot of consideration in the future. A lot of capital that is required to build a team. It takes many players to be tried to play in the NFL. It takes 11 on the field at the same time. It takes a minimum of 30 or 40 at minimum to have both defense and offense, not including players that are involved in our special teams. So it takes more than one. And so you do have to allocate your resources, whether it be draft picks or whether it be finances. You have to allocate those resources. There was no question in our mind that Michael could bring us a lot of resources on a trade. That has been on my mind since we hired Brian. And so there was no question. As it turns out, all the publicity about the not having a contract, certainly you did your part in making sure that it was known that he was potentially available, and I appreciate that very much. And I say that a little tongue-in-cheek. I'm not really as serious about it. But I will say this, that it was important that we did get, if we could get it, the kind of interest that we got in making a trade for Mike. He was an asset that we got 4 great years out of. But when you are talking about making a contract the kind that he got and for the future, that's quite a commitment. And none of that counts about what he did those first 4 years. It all goes against what he can do for you in the future, the length of that contract and maybe more. Well, then you've got to really weigh how many players, and I'm just going to give you this, not only do we immediately get a player, but those draft picks could get us, I'm talking top Pro Bowl type players, could, not necessarily, you're going to be quick to say, you won't necessarily get those players, you got to draft them or acquire them. But they could get us as few as 3 or as many as 5 outstanding players. Now, not only do they contribute in a game that needs a lot of players on the field, not to be elementary, but they also give you better odds that they're going to be a high percentage of those are going to be available, just from the standpoint of attrition or from the standpoint of just sheer limit on how far one player can go. Very few players are Dion playing 100 plays a game out there at the time. So this trade was not just thought about today. This trade has been going on in our minds and our strategies and being talked about. It's been going on all spring. It culminated today, and it came quick, but that's the way things go. It does happen fast when it happens. But you've laid a lot of water. I mean, you've laid a lot of things out there on the water to make it happen. I want to be sure that our fans understand, I think a lot of Micah. And I wish him so much success. I don't want him to have success when they play the Cowboys as much as I do want him to have overall success. But Micah Parsons did an outstanding job for us for 4 years. and a little bit of the way Herschel Walker may have had his greatest contribution to the Cowboys. What he brought to us when he left could be a tremendous thing for our fans and the success of this team. Kenny Clark, we really knew beginning this spring that if we could pick up a top interior defensive lineman just to offset not having a pass rusher, even though it's Micah, but where we're strong is in our pass rushing depth. And we knew if we could get an interior lineman that was at least something that would improve us right there on a top interior lineman. He comes in strong for us, and he comes in accomplished for us. And so we're glad to have him. It was a prerequisite. We went down the teams, and we only picked teams that had room on their cap that could pay Micah, and we only picked teams that had top tackles, interior tackles, that we wanted to have any dialogue with at all about a trade. That was the criteria of trading. Top existing tackle that could come in here and play for us right now, this year, and offset the fact, to whatever degree, more or less, that we don't have that excellence that Micah Parsons has there, but we do have the depth to come in here and do that. And then if we could get the picks that we ultimately getting, and we did have several teams that we might have had an opportunity to do something with. We did have that. And so this was no instantaneous happening this afternoon over about a 5-minute period. The other thing that I would like to say is I firmly made a commitment to Micah this spring, and paid him, and to pay him. At that time, I was battling and knew that the other alternative probably was. I had no idea of what we might be able to get. But I knew that it was very likely to be several players that we could use those resources for all the way, draft picks as well as cap space. And so that was on our mind. The minute that we saw that we were quite possibly were going to have an issue about whether or not we could do a contract or not, that gave us time, that gave us imagineering. That coupled with bringing in a new coach and bringing in a new staff, we felt it fit for us to have more players, more excellent players, if we do a good job of acquiring